fans, I'm Kitt Pomidoro here in beautiful Buena Park, California, bringing you the Cop Shop Car Show. We're going to see lots of cars, fun people. Let's get started. I am with Mac MCELMURRY and his pristine 1955 Chevy Bel Air. It is so gorgeous.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being with us.
My pleasure.
Now, you have a story for us in how you got this car.
Well, one of my customers had it, and it was just asked me if I wanted an old Chevy. Said sure, so I bought it sight unseen, $950, and it was all in a box.
No, all in a box,
no
not
engine, no transmission, and just all of the pieces in a box, but it was all air. So.
And about how long ago was that?
That was in 1994.
1994. And how long did it take from that point to here to get it to
The car
this?
just sat under a cover for several years. I finished the car in the first of this year, but it took about 3 years.
Okay, now what took the most time to redo?
It all took a lot of time, but the body is the most tedious. But I had that done. I did all of the mechanical, chassis, and everything. So
You've got to get so many compliments on this car.
yes, and it's good. It just confirms that you know that you did a good job.
The interior is gorgeous. Did you do that, or did you have someone do that?
I had that done. That takes a real talent to do the interior. I'm a mechanic, not an interior guy.
Are you going to let me take a spin in this a little while?
You can ride with me.
Oh, I can ride. He's not going to let me drive it, but I can ride with him. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
I'm with John Lewis in his 1957 Chevy Bel Air, which I understand took you quite some time to find this car of your dreams.
Well, looked for it for about 9 years. I finally found it up in Santa Rosa about 3 years ago, and just recently completed it this year.
So what shape did you find it in?
The car was absolutely perfect as far as body goes and everything. I naturally had to redo the car as far as paint, interior, and so on. But the car is an unmolested car. It's a one-owner car. And it's everything you see right here is exactly the way it was in 57. Same color, same interior. So I tried to bring it back just like it was in 57.
So do you drive this around?
I try to drive it at least 3 to 4 days a week. I have a regular route that I take at least 2 to 3 times a week. I'll cruise it up to Irvine, cruise it back down to Manhattan Beach, then cruise it back up to Huntington Beach where I live.
And how many compliments do you get on this?
Well, if I don't get at least 3 thumbs up a week, I really get depressed.
We usually go for 2 thumbs up, but you get 3.
I get 3. Yeah.
So tell me more about the car. Everything is so pristine. This is the original paint.
The car is actually a 1957 Chevy, Sierra Gold on the bottom, Adobe Beige on the top. It's got the original 283 engine in it. It's got the original Bel Air transmission in it. And the car's a 100% original car. The 1957 Chevy, when it came out in 57, I just thought was the most beautiful car ever designed or made, and I still feel the same way today. And I think the beauty of the car is leaving its stock. If you look at the interior in these cars, I mean, they're all of them, the 5, 6, and 7 Chevys, they're beautiful cars. Never saw a Chevy I didn't like.
So look for John on his route from Irvine to Manhattan Beach. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much.
with George Otten and his fabulous 1938 Chevrolet. Now, something tells me this isn't stock.
No, it's not. It's been a little bit of work and to get at this point. Yes.
How long have you had this?
I had the car 6 years. I purchased the car not looking like this, and this is what it looks like after 6 years.
And did it take you that full 6 years to get it to this point?
Not really. I tried different things, different ways of doing the car, but and finding the right people to work on it. And I'm kind of finished right now. I'm done.
You know, I have to say that this reminds me of, do you know what I'm going to say? Do you know what car I'm going to say?
Yeah.
The PT Cruiser?
Right. Very much so. Yes, it does. I've had a lot of people say it looks like an old PT Cruiser. You're right.
Now, did you pick all this out? Or a little birdie told me that your wife was a little helping hand in that.
That's very true. She has 3 older brothers that were into hot rod cars, and she's seen a lot of the work that they had done, and so she had a lot of input in this car. The colors, she picked the colors, the interior colors. Her number one suggestion when I first got the car was to make sure we have it chopped. She wanted the top lowered to make it look more like a hot rod, and so we did. That's what we did.
So you've put a lot of sweat into this.
Mostly money and getting the right people to do the job. That's been the hardest part. I'm not in a competition with some of the real big guys, but I have fun with it because I do drive the car a lot. I take it on trips. Just put a bra on, away we go.
How's it do on gas?
Very good. It has a Corvette ZZ5 motor with 430 horsepower, but it's computerized ignition system. The gearing is right, 20 miles to the gallon.
What have you gotten this up to?
What's that? Oh, how fast? 100. But that's about as fast I've ever driven as 100. Yeah.
Do you really want to do that?
No, that's not really my thing. But matter of fact, 3 weeks ago on the Arizona 95 going to Havasu, it was just too wide open. We had to get up to 101. So
They
had to do that. Yeah, and it was fun. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your car with us.
Well, thank you. Enjoyed it.
I am with Rich Childers and his 1940 Ford, and this is so gorgeous. And if you're going to have a car like this, it's got to be red, right?
Right.
It is so beautiful. Tell me, I know you put a lot of sweat into this.
Well, the car was in a garage for 27 years when I found it. It took me 6 years to rebuild the car completely. I did probably 95% of the work myself except for the paint, bodywork, and upholstery. I did all the mechanical stuff. And
under the hood, everything?
All the bracketry, the valve covers, and all that I made pretty much myself.
And the woodwork inside?
Well, I made the armrest myself, but the garnish moldings in the dashboard are hand-painted wood grain. But it's got an independent front Mustang front end in it, a Curry 9-inch rear end, a 355 cubic inch Chevy, and a 350 transmission, air conditioning. And I retired in 91, and my wife said, you better get something to do, so I looking for this. And I had one of these when I was in high school and junior college, only it was pretty much a stock one.
But it brings you back.
Yeah, right.
Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, this is Fred and Eileen DANNOV, and this what has to be the cutest car out here today, a 1964 Sunbeam. And I understand you have a lot of fun facts about this car.
This is one of about 19,000 that were built between 61 and 68, and it's getting rare and rare. The Alpine is, we haven't seen another Alpine in 4 or 5 years, and we've owned this car since 1964.
Original owners.
Yeah, and the kids drove it, so it's been used and reused, and it sat on blocks for about 10 years. About 7 or 8 years ago, we decided we'd fix it up, and so I started working on it, and both of us have put it in the shape that it's in, which is a good shape. But
It's great shape. About how long did that take you to get it back into shape?
oh, it's a work in progress that never stops.
It's your love for cars too.
Yeah, we love it, and especially her. She'd sell me before she'd sell the car.
Hey, you know what? A car before a man, that's okay.
Most people, though, recognize this car by it was the car that Don Adams used in the series Get Smart, and that was the only thing we don't have is his shoe phone.
His shoe phone. Got to get the shoe phone. So now, do you take this on little trips?
No, actually, what we basically use it for is around town now. They were not an expensive car. This is not like a Jag or a Lamborghini or anything like that.
That's why they were popular.
Right.
That's why they were popular.
So a lot of people had them back
They
then.
built 19,000
In Britain.
in Britain.
Okay, that's a good point. So these are British made.
Yeah, it's an English car, and it has some faults that English cars had at that time. For example, the tops don't fit exactly, and a little rain might get to your head, but it's fun. I've been told and read that this car was developed by an outfit called the Roots Group. And the guy who designed it, as I understand, I might be wrong, was brought over from America, and he designed the 55 Ford Thunderbird. And if you put this and a Ford T-Bird, you'll see some similarities.
See, I knew you two were full of fun facts. Did I get that right?
I hope so.
Thank you so much for sharing such a precious vehicle
Thank
to
you
you.
for having us.
That's a wrap from the Cop Shop Car Show here in Buena Park. For Vintage Vehicle, I'm Kitt Pomidoro.